is a glorious September 3rd, 2021. It's the Friday before Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer. And it feels more like early fall than the end of summer, happily. Very pleasant weather, low 70s. Gorgeous weekend coming up. And Labor Day weekend, that's the last gasp for the heavy-duty Montauk trains. And we expect to see a number of them today. Several of them making last runs, and that includes a scoot train. The Cannonball will be making its last run. 2708 will be making its last run, as well as 2714. And we have a couple of trains that will be coming shortly. 2786 from Babylon to Patchogue. That's a summer-only train. He'll be making his last run today, followed by 2796, a Jamaica Montauk train that will be making his last run today. Starting next Tuesday and every other weekday, 2706 will be left standing, as those other two trains I spoke of, 2786 and 2796, will be gone. That train does the work of both of those trains in the off-season. As fair weather cumulus clouds hover over us, this is the start of a number of trains that I'll be catching this Labor Day weekend. Like I said, today, Friday, there'll be a number of last runs. Might get a couple of trains on Sunday, but on Monday, Labor Day holiday, get the westbound fleet. Only a couple of those trains will be making last runs. 8707 from Southampton to Jamaica and 8711 from Montauk to Jamaica. The Cannonball 8717 and 8705 will be making their last runs on October the 10th, Columbus Day weekend. All other trains run year-round. But Monday we'll get a chance to see some of the swollen consist that I anticipate on that last summer holiday of the year. And approaching eastbound at 12:10, we're going to see three eastbounds pretty close together here. Here comes 2786 from Babylon to Patchogue, making his last run today. Primary function of that train is to serve the Fire Island ferry communities of Bayshore, Sayville, and Patchogue. Those are the only stops he makes. And there should be a lot of people heading out to the beach this weekend. Right behind him, closely, will be 2796 from Jamaica to Montauk. He runs non-stop from Babylon to Patchogue, but he runs kind of close behind this 2786 in spots. Okay, gates are going down at 12:18 on the Windsor Avenue crossing in Brightwaters for 2796, Jamaica to Montauk. Today is his last run. Runs non-stop from Jamaica to Patchogue and then all stops to Montauk. And the purpose of that train is to handle the East End goers beyond Patchogue, whereas 2786 handles the Fire Island goers. To ease crowding, they break those up into two separate trains, two separate markets. And here comes our third eastbound in succession at 12:28. This is train 8768 from Babylon to Patchogue. This runs all year round. Sounded like a K5LA rather timidly. Then we move further east to Islip at 107. We have a westbound approaching. that was a westbound equipment move heading back to Babylon. Correction, that's going to Jamaica. I think that was the equipment for 2786. He's heading back west. All right, 127, the gates are going down on Islip Avenue for train 2707 from Montauk to Jamaica. He won't be stopping here. Makes all stops to Patchogue, then Sayville, Bayshore, Babylon, and Jamaica. Well, all the horns on those cab cars sound the same. I'd say the most annoying cab car horns you could hear on a railroad, or any railroad, would be Long Island and Metro North. I've heard the cab cars on Metrolink and Caltrain out in California, and they're rather blasé also. But there are some decent ones. MBTA has some varied cab car horns. SEPTA has K5LAs. New Jersey Transit has K5LAs. I think Mark has K5LAs. Virginia Railway Express has some rather appealing sounding horns. Metro's horns aren't bad. So there's more good ones than bad, but we have to live with the bad. Well, we're further east at a crossing that a guy like me has to be by. Irish Lane, just east of the Islip station. We're actually in East Islip here, waiting for 2771 to go west. Patchogue Babylon train. And here he comes, 2771. $139. And our next eastbound at 147 will be train 2736 from Jamaica to Patchogue. This is another seasonal train, but it won't be making its last run until October the 8th. This train runs on Fridays only. Here he comes, just pulled out of Islip. Yeah, we're just west of Great River Station at this little electronic box, relay box, whatever. CS 440, Hawthorne Avenue parallels the tracks on the south side. We're here to catch train 2770 from Babylon to Patchogue go by. A different photo location. Just to the west of this spot, it's a little pullover. There's a set of hand-thrown switches. 2770. You didn't have time to set up for that. You snuck in on it. Well, we moved to Great River Station. This is the Great River Road crossing. Waiting for 2743, Patchogue to Jamaica, coming in. 2:55 p.m. at Great River, here comes one of the highlights, one of the most coveted trains to railfan. Train 2708 from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Montauk. First stop Westhampton after Jamaica. This is his last run. He'll have DE38C 423 with a K5 LLA horn. I'd say 423 has the loudest K5 LLA horn of any of the locomotives that have it. Yeah, we move further east to Locust Avenue in Oakdale, the east side of Oakdale. There's a set of signals here to the west. I wonder if any rail fans live around here. I don't know. We're approaching at 3:41. It's train 2745 en route from Speonk to Jamaica. Seasonal train. Runs Fridays only. His last trip will be on October the 8th. This is the turn from 2736.
You in your way? Very good.
No, that's fine. Good speed through here with some courteous bikers. Up 3:52, we were caught with our pants down. That was an equipment train, Patchogue to Babylon. And at 4:10, approaching Locust Avenue eastbound is train 2772, en route from Jamaica to Patchogue. Passing the position light signals here, a hallmark of this railroad crossing. We move further east to McConnell's Avenue, Bayport. Got a westbound equipment train at 4:39. First of 3 trains we'll see here. And he's approaching Y interlocking, where it becomes double track westward. And the gates are going down on McConnell Street at 4:55 for train 2709, Montauk to Jamaica. 2774 is sitting at Y waiting for him. Here comes 2774, Babylon Patchogue, with his anemic K5 LA horn. We moved east to a popular spot on the Montauk Branch, the Bayport Avenue crossing, at the west end of a sweeping curve. Long straightaway to the west. And approaching Bayport Avenue at 5:13 is the hit of the day, the last cannonball, 2798, New York to Montauk. No rear engine horn honk today. Okay, we move west to Cherry Street in Sayville for 2738, Babylon-Montauk train. Gorgeous day. Move further west to Oakdale, just in time to see train 2712 arrive at 5:55 en route from Hunters Point Avenue, Long Island City to Montauk. The old East Ender years ago. Next stop, Sayville. Before the pandemic, that train didn't stop here. Made Bayshore, Sayville, Patchogue, Mastic, Shirley, and all stops. All right, we've moved further west to Islip. This is the Islip Avenue crossing. Here to catch one more train. And this is another one of those trains that are making its last run today. Train 2714, en route from New York to Montauk. After today, it'll be train 2740, 5 days a week, from New York to Spion. 2714 runs on Fridays only during the summer months as far as Montauk. Just an extension of 2740, albeit with a different number. But tonight is definitely this train's final run. And 2714 is approaching. The gate should be going down momentarily. I was actually here a year ago on the Friday before Labor Day, getting the final run of this same train in similar weather. Today is Monday, September 6, 2021. It's Labor Day, both in the United States and Canada. In the United States, it's LABOR Day. In Canada, it's LABOUR Day. Canada still embraces European and British philosophies, quite a few of them too numerous to mention. And, well, why not? Many Canadians were descended from United Empire loyalists. And those were individuals who were loyal to the crown, who thought the American Revolution was a big mistake. Well, kind of makes you think. I mean, today Canada is a free country just like us. So draw your own conclusions. Canadians seem to be happy with the way things turned out for them, but we're not here to discuss that. We're here to capture summer's last gasp on the Long Island Railroad, getting the Montauk fleet east and west today. Today will be the last day where lots of people will be traveling back from the Hamptons, and we should see a lot of swollen consist from those trains as well as other trains. Time is 7:55. Our first eastbound train from Montauk, part of the eastbound fleet, is train 8702 en route from Jamaica to Montauk. This train appears to be running year-round now. Used to be a seasonal train, but seems like it'll be in the schedule until further notice. After October 10th, you'll have 6 eastbound Montauk trains and 5 westbounds, indicating there's an equipment train somewhere. But he won't be stopping here. Impressive consist with 504 on the rear with a K5 LLA horn. He'll be coming back west later, jammed to the gills probably. And move further east to Locust Avenue crossing, east end of Oakdale. Going to catch several trains here. 3 of them involve Montauk as an origination or destination point. It's cloudy now, but should become a sunny, warm day. And looking west at Locust Avenue at 8:32, approaching is what I'm told is train 5782. It's an equipment train from Jamaica to Montauk. This might make train 8705 going back west later. He's slowing down. He may have a restricting signal approaching Y. He stopped. He's on the move again. He probably had a stop and proceed signal here. This is an automatic block signal. Something to watch out for if you're ever walking on the sidewalk around the Locust Avenue crossing. I noticed these glossy 3-leaf plants, which seem to fit the description of poison ivy. Well, approaching is train 8730 from Babylon to Spionk. He's probably going to slow down for the signal also because 8701 hasn't cleared Y yet. That may have had something to do with 5782 getting a restricting signal. They eventually met at PD. But this guy's moving a bit faster. And approaching westbound at 8:58 is train 8701 from Montauk to Jamaica. This crew is returning back to Jamaica after starting work about 12:30 this morning. I'm sure they're quite tired. This has been holding up a couple of eastbounds as I had to wait. Yeah, that equipment train in 8730 had to hold up because they had to wait for this train to clear single track at Y. Now that he's out of the way, train should go through here at track speed. And it's busy here. Approaching at 9:03 is train 8704, right from Jamaica to Montauk. Rather substandard horn blowing there. And we move further east to a nice little spot that you can access the tracks on supposedly. This is the Roosevelt Estate County Park. We're just east of Sayville. Beautiful home, beautiful spot. Teddy Roosevelt hung out here at this house years ago, former president. There's a hiking trail that goes from the Roosevelt Estate up to Lotus Lake, and it crosses over the Montauk Branch at milepost 50. We're just east of Y interlocking where the double track becomes signal. Very beautiful spot. Little roller coaster profile, sort of reminds me of the Port Jeff Branch. Looks like it's wide enough for a second track. Approaching at 10:11 is train 8760 from Jamaica to Patchogue. You'll see him come off the double track and onto the single track here at Y. Y used to be a spring switch, but now it's an interlocking. He's running out his last few feet on the double track iron from Babylon. Next stop, Patchogue, and what's turning out to be a very nice day. This afternoon should be sunny with lowering humidity. We're at Bayport Avenue as westbound 8735 from Spionk to Babylon is approaching. right, about to pass at 10:45 is train 8732 en route from Jamaica to Spionk. You'll have DE30AC number 413 with a K5 LLA horn. And with all the crossings in this area of Bayport, going to listen to hopefully some good symphonic sound. Oh, that was glorious. All right, approaching now at 11:13. I may be getting spoiled rotten here. Train 8706, Jamaica to Montauk, a whopping 12 cars. Might have spaghetti and meatballs on this. No, I don't think he was on there. I usually get away from him unless he has a mentor and he's running the train. Well, we've moved further east to this location, east of Bellport, the old Brookhaven station site. It existed until 1958, as you can see. As you can see, it's a rather scenic spot. We're at the western end of a large wildlife refuge. And approaching Old Stump Road at 12:18 is train 8737 en route from Spionk to Babylon. And on the rear was good old 413, which put on an excellent horn performance earlier. All right, approaching west at 1:10 is train 8703 from Montauk to Jamaica. He's running about 16 minutes late. 8710 Jamaica Montauk is being held at PD. This train will have 504 on the lead with a K5 LLA horn. see 8710 by here very soon in what has turned out to be a glorious afternoon. And approaching eastbound out of the clear blue sky at 127 is train 8710, the last of the eastbound Montauk fleet, Jamaica Montauk train. From here on, the rest of the day, it's all westbounds. Well, that I wasn't expecting. I got 8710 a second time at Oak Street Crossing and East Quogue. There are two parallel crossings here, Gleason Street and Oak Street. As you can see, those crossings are very close together. And we moved a little further west on the Montauk Branch at the Mid-Hampton Avenue crossing. This is a noteworthy location. I'll explain in just a moment. This is the site of the former Quogue Station, which was closed in 1998. The Quogue Station generally occupied that piece of real estate on the left-hand side of the track down there. Station is just east of County Road 104, which used to be New York Route 113, Quogue Riverhead Road. And this was the driveway into the station parking lot, which was a little ways further down. Better get off the tracks there, fella. You're trespassing. Well, there he goes. And here on the north side of the track at the Mid-Hampton Road crossing, you can see the remnants of an old siding. And approaching westbound at 235 is train 8705 from Montauk to Jamaica. Leader is DM30AC number 519 as the Salvation Army bell. It has a nice K5LA horn though. This train will be making his last run on October the 10th. All the other trains we've seen thus far running year-round for the most part. Kind of taking it easy through here. I know he has a sharp turn up ahead here past the station site. Well, on this gorgeous day, oh, what an afternoon this turned out to be. It's about 80 degrees, warm and dry. Feels like Southern California out. We're at a place where, oddly enough, I've never rail fanned at. The Shinnecock Canal. The Montauk Branch crosses over this canal. Canal was dug in 1892 and it connects Shinnecock Bay on the south side with Patchogue Bay on the north side. There's a lock system between the two bays which accommodates boats to go up 3 feet in elevation to get to Patchogue Bay and descending 3 feet to get to Shinnecock Bay. And there's the truss bridge span over the canal. boat negotiate the rapids. They're pretty nasty. Well, they get from the South Shore inlets and bays to the North Shore inlets like Great Peconic and Little Peconic Bay. You've got to go through here. And at 3:31, about to cross the bridge, is train 8707 en route from Southampton to Jamaica. This will be his last run. We've moved back west to Eastport. We're just a little ways west of the Spionk terminus. This is the South Bay Avenue crossing. Going to catch 2736 pass by, finishing his run from Jamaica to Spionk. And 419 approaching his 8736. Passing through downtown Eastport, coming into his terminus at Spionk. And he's approaching SK Interlocking and the Spionk station, his last stop, and he's got approach signal. And we move further west a little ways at East Mauritius at the Pine Street crossing. This building, which is a residence, was the former East Mauritius station. This building was built in 1936. It was the second depot building built here. The station was discontinued for passengers in 1958. And approaching west at 4:55 is train 8709 en route from Montauk to Jamaica. This is an all-year-long train. He'll have a monster consist, 12 cars. He went east on 8706 this morning. Impressive. I've seen lots of big trains today. Got 8711 following close behind in about 20 to 25 minutes. Montauk, Jamaica. Now we move further west to Center Mauritius. This is the Chichester Avenue crossing. Nice good old-fashioned English name. Okay, approaching at 5:23 is train 8711 en route from Montauk to Jamaica. This is his last run, folks. We're just west of Center Mauritius, the old station site, closed in 1998. it's 5 minutes to 7 and the sun is starting to go down. It'll set within the next 15 minutes. So we're further west at Sayville, west of Patchogue. We'll get 8715 blasting through here. Unfortunately, he'll have a cab car. One of the few East End cab car leading trains I've seen today, thank goodness. Okay, 722, the gates are going down for 8715. He'll be flying by here en route from Montauk to Jamaica, unfortunately with a cab car. There was a cat hanging around on the tracks for the longest time, but he's finally smart enough to take off. Blowing for Lincoln Avenue and Railroad Avenue behind me. One of the few cab car trains out of Montauk. The next two trains, 8717 and 8719, should be locomotive sandwiches. Now we move just around the corner from the Sayville station to the east at the Lincoln Avenue crossing, in time to catch train 8771 from Patchogue to Babylon. Arriving in Sayville Station under beautiful twilight. Well, we have 8776 stopped at Sayville at 7:43. Route from Babylon to Patchogue. Just pulling out. The crossing gate here at Lincoln Avenue should be going back down again. Yeah, it's dark now. I'm at Oakdale. I'm going to get 8717, the old cannonball, from Montauk to Penn Station, New York. That train will run until October the 10th. 8:22, it's showtime for 8717, Montauk to Penn Station, New York. Now a nameless train. How the mighty hath fallen. Years ago it was the Sundowner with as many as 19 cars. Pretty impressive run by. Next stop, Jamaica. Time is 8:45 p.m. and I'm back at Islip Station. Well, I started here almost 14 hours ago, so it's appropriate that I end here. And what a wonderful day this was. I want to tell you, I'm 67 years old. I've lived on Long Island my entire life, and I'd arguably have to say that this was probably the most enjoyable day I've ever spent rail fanning the Long Island Railroad. And I've spent tons of days trackside here, tons and tons and tons. So for me to say something like that, that really means something. And why not? The day started out cloudy, but as it wore on, it became absolutely scintillating. Gorgeous weather. I saw lots of trains, fast trains, very long trains, some good horn performances, some great horn performances, and some shoddy horn performances. But I pretty much captured all of the daytime Montauk trains that go back and forth on this line. And spending 14 hours a day on this line like this, it just goes to show you what you can do if you really love what you're doing. I wish that I'd had a job where I really loved what I was doing that much. There's no telling what I would have done, how far I would have gone. Never know. But one thing I am sure of, the best job I've ever had is right now, being retired. I make a modest pension, Social Security, a couple other little earnings, and I manage and go out and get trackside and do other things. And I hope, I pray to God that I can do this for many more years to come. So help. Okay, at 9:36, about to pass Islip, is our last train of this wonderful day. Train 8719 from Montauk to Jamaica. The last westbound out of Montauk. In summers past, they ran an 8721 that followed this train an hour later, but it hasn't run this summer. Hopefully it will run next summer. Another thing that was odd about today, Labor Day, is tomorrow's Rosh Hashanah, Jewish holiday. So the Jewish people had to get home by sundown, so a lot of the earlier trains were very crowded, but the later trains not quite so crowded as a result. So a lot of trains and some nice scenic and pastoral areas today, and beautiful weather, most enjoyable. Good night, all.